looks like a Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball.
What you're looking at right here is a Parmigiano Reggiano straight from...
You said it right.
Right here is a Parmigiano Reggiano.
I don't know who is doing this wastage. Where have you learned this from? Maybe Gordon?
For letting our furry little friend try it himself. So I'm gonna put...
What is he doing? That's a cute little animal, but it does not belong on the Parmigiano wheel. Nick, what are you doing? 30 million people watch this video. What are you showing us? In this video, we are reacting to one of your favorites, Nick Di Giovanni, cheese wheel pasta. More than 13 million people watched this video. Is he good at making pasta in a cheese wheel? Let's find out.
Today we have an 80-pound wheel of Parmesan cheese straight from Italy. I just wanted to...
Hey guys, look at him. He looks like a Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball. He looks like him. He should be a Super Saiyan. He looks like he's got the perfect hair. He's got the look. He belongs to a Japanese cartoon. Nice apartment. Ooh, that's heavy. Let me tell you, I received 40 kilos of Grana Padano wheel and it's extremely heavy. So he's not gonna do it by himself. If he does, he deserves a round of applause.
Vinny, you always like to see the packages.
I mean, this is true. You normally do have some fun stuff.
Oh man.
Oh, this looks pretty legit.
Seriously legit.
He's so good at this. Pretty damn.
Ooh, look at that baby.
Ah. Come on, Nick.
Come on.
You know, they don't teach
Use
you
those
that
muscles.
flying day. Oh my God. Get there.
This is so...
He did it, he did it.
All right.
Look at that.
Look at that thing.
Look at... There's a...
Man, this man is so strong.
There's a barcode on it.
This is crazy.
It's got a barcode because they need to know when it was made, who made it, the day it was made. It's very important. The quality control of Parmigiano Reggiano is extremely important, and they need to be able to go back to the day it was made. So they know the batch, they know if there's a bad batch or a good batch, like anything else, like cars or handbags, whatever you make, they are made in batches.
Now let me just tell you, this thing was not easy to bring in. What you're looking at right here is a Parmigiano Reggiano straight from...
You said it right.
Right here is a Parmigiano Reggiano. And you know, it's funny, I've been trying to get this thing in for weeks, months even, but the first time around it was damaged in transit.
Oh no, that's a shame.
And I have no idea what that means. All I know is I got a notification as it was on its way that something had happened halfway through its...
Oh, look at that. That's from February 2019. So that means the video was from 2021, 2 years. It's 2 years.
Its path. Maybe someone decided they love cheese and just dropped it on purpose so they could take it home. But the important thing is, it's here now. Now I want to talk a little bit about this before we go and cut into it. But the first thing I want to say, because I have to say it, is that it smells amazing.
Guys, I agree. The smell of that cheese. Oh my God. It makes your house smell so good.
Oh God.
Now let's see if we can open the Parmigiano Reggiano wheel.
Here's how it's gonna go down. We're making pasta inside this wheel, but first we have to cut it in half. So we're gonna cut it like this.
He knows what he's doing. Guys, I've done this too, so go and watch my video. I'll breaking open a 40 kilos of Grana Padano wheel. It's a fun video, and I've done it in 8 minutes. Yeah.
Now to start, we're gonna take this cute little knife right here and score around the entire wheel of Parmesan.
Usually you need to get the knife that comes with Parmigiano Reggiano or Grana Padano. There are specific knives that allow you to open it. What you want to avoid is to have a knife that breaks inside the wheel. We don't want that.
What's actually really cool is that they pretty much give us a line right down the middle to perfectly do this scoring. For right now, I'm just trying to get that initial line. I'm gonna come back around it again to get a deeper line, but for now, this is all I need.
Look how precise it is. What he did is extremely good.
On this nice line around the cheese, I'm actually gonna take the back corner of the knife instead of the top, which will allow me to dig in a little bit here and slowly go back to further solidify that line.
Okay, he's doing double the work. Okay.
Because this is such a beautiful piece of cheese, I'm really trying to do it justice here with nice, clean cuts.
It's so gentle.
Now we've got another knife that we're gonna use here.
That's the knife you're meant to use when you carve, like when you make the lines. That's what you was meant to use, that knife. You don't use this knife to open it. You need to use the pointy knife to be able to go in.
If you can see up close, it's a very weird shape, very specific to a cheese like this. And it has this extremely sharp knife tip here. I'm basically gonna punch that into my cheese and then pull really hard to start cutting that rind. This thing goes through like a breeze. And you can see that when I leverage it like this, the rind comes right out just a bit.
Now I see what he did. Wow. So he created the line. Then he made it wider with that knife, and now he's got the right knife. Look at, he's got 3. Yeah, these are the knives you need.
We have these tools, which are basically wedges that go into the side of the cheese to leverage it open. This to me is the part I'm most looking forward to.
This is the part we've been waiting for.
We're gonna pick an area right on the side of the cheese and wedge this all the way in. And as we go, we'll go back and forth a bit to start to break the cheese apart. Once that's in, I'll wedge it just a little bit back, turn my wheel of cheese, and go to a space just a little bit over. Same thing here, I wedge it all the way in there, moving that around to break apart that cheese, and then bring it back again. Now, I'll spin my cheese around to the other side and wedge another one in, shifting back and forth to break that cheese open.
Bravissimo. And so you keep doing this until you get to the point that you feel it's about to break open.
I think that there's probably a few spots that still haven't been touched over here. So I'm gonna put in just a little bit more work with some of these wedges over on the edges.
You need to keep doing this until you feel like you can open it, you know? So you need to really do this for about 7, 8, 10 minutes.
Now I've gone around the entire wheel with these wedges and I think we're ready to pop.
Yeah, you can tell, see, you can tell when you're ready. Yeah.
Whoa! What? All of that hard work has paid off.
Yeah, this is the best part. You're gonna get the best experience when you open the wheel. Now the flavors, the smell going into your nostril. Don't forget, this cheese that is about to eat, it's the best you can get when you get Parmigiano. Straight from the wheel. That tastes absolutely amazing.
When it cracks open like that, you get these beautiful flakes of cheese. This gorgeous, almost crystal-like hunk that you've gotten here, you simply can't get that any other way. Opening a
I agree. That's the best way to enjoy a Parmigiano Reggiano. Open the wheel and have it.
I know I've already taken a few bites, but I have to try this cheese while it's so fresh like this, because I don't know how many times in my life I'm gonna get cheese this fresh. That cheese has more Parmesan flavor than I even knew Parmesan could have.
It's Parmigiano. I don't like Parmigiano. It's not Parmigiano. It's Parmigiano Reggiano. All right, let's see how he makes the pasta in the Parmigiano wheel.
But of course, we're gonna fill this whole thing with pasta, so let's make that dough. To start our pasta dough, this one is special. So I wanna make a 12 yolk pasta dough, yolks only. In my bowl where I'm gonna put the yolks, I'm gonna add in a little bit of olive oil, because I don't want those yolks sticking to the bowl. I'll crack my eggs, then gently drop the whites in with the shells, which I can save for later. Those will make a nice tasty omelet. As for these gorgeous little yolks, I'll gently place them all into the bowl with the olive oil. I'll repeat this process very carefully with all 12 of my egg yolks, trying to keep them all whole and intact.
He's probably using the egg yolk because he wants to see the yellow pasta. He wants the pasta to be yellow, but you don't do that. When you make pasta, you normally use the entire egg. I don't know who is doing this wastage. Where have you learned this from? Maybe Gordon?
Now on our cutting board, we'll put down a little over 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Into the middle of the flour, we'll make a nice little well.
So important to make a nice well. See the well? You don't want the eggs to escape the well. Otherwise, you make a mess on your chopping board and the risk to have the eggs on the floor are pretty high. So the well needs to have nice, thick, high edges.
That well will go our 12 beautiful egg yolks. If we want, we can add just a little bit of olive oil here.
That's a lot of extra virgin olive oil, guys. You can put a little bit of olive oil in the pasta dough, but that's a lot. You got extra virgin olive oil, only egg yolks. Where is the egg white? You need the egg white.
Then we break those egg yolks. Such a satisfying thing to do.
I have to try it. Satisfying.
Gently and gradually mixing until everything is nice and well combined.
How much flour is he using? He didn't tell us. Normally, when you make pasta dough, you use 1 entire egg and 100 grams of flour for each person. So if you have 5 people, you need 5 entire eggs and 500 grams of flour. So you're making pasta with 5 egg yolks, and I don't know how much flour. How many people are you planning to serve this pasta to? And why you don't want to use the egg white? I really want to know, Nick.
And after some pretty solid elbow grease, but nothing quite as bad as opening up that Parmesan wheel, we have a beautiful disc of pasta dough.
It looks beautiful. It's very dark in color because of the egg yolks. The color doesn't really make any difference in this case. You know, it's fresh pasta. The color is given by the eggs, okay? So of course, if your eggs are darker, the pasta will look darker. If your eggs are a little bit more pale, the pasta will look pale. But it doesn't mean that because this fresh pasta dough is so dark, it means it's better than my nonna's pasta, that it's lighter. No. It doesn't mean that.
At this point in time, I'll take my ridiculously oversized plastic wrap and rest this in the fridge for half an hour.
The importance of resting in the fridge. You need to create the gluten, so it does help. Do you have to do it all the time? You don't have to do it all the time. You can make the pasta straight away and it works. But that 10 minutes wait, it can make a big difference.
And once we've created a nice bowl, we can set our wheel aside. Now that our dough's been resting in the fridge for a while, I first want to show you how bright and yellow this thing is. That's what you get when you use all egg yolks. Now first, we're gonna hit this dough with some nice flour, really making sure that that's not gonna stick to a bunch of stuff. Then we'll take that same bench scraper we used earlier and cut this in half. Press out your dough until it's nice and...
Normally Nonna cuts discs, cuts discs and makes a little bit at a time. Using, I believe you're gonna use half that dough and put it through the pasta machine. A bit too much. Your pasta is gonna be extremely long. You don't want your pasta to be too long.
Flouring a little bit as you go and optionally using a rolling pin to push it out even further. Once you're ready to go, push it through your pasta maker. We should get a gorgeous, beautiful, and smooth yellow dough. And as I think I've discussed before, I always like to fold it together and put it through a second time to get out any air bubbles.
Yes, that's very important. I just discovered that Nonna does this about 8, 9, even 10 times on the first setting because she really wants to get the head bubble out and stretch it and make sure that first time that you put it through the machine, it's done extremely well, that you don't have any head bubbles left in the dough.
Once your dough is rolled out the first time, turn up the dial and start to roll it through on a thinner setting until you're ready to make your fettuccine.
Yeah, bravo.
Once it's finished, we can roll out our fettuccine.
Way too long, my friend. Look how long this pasta is. This is way too long. You're gonna have a long pasta, longer than your car.
Now we roll out the fettuccine, creating these beautiful strands of pasta.
Guys, it's too long. Look how long this is. I mean, there is no flour, so they're gonna get stuck because look how thin it is. But look how long it is. How are you gonna eat that? That's why you can't use that much dough. You need to cut this and then keep doing it and cut again. You have about half kilo of pasta there probably. It's too much. It's also difficult when you do it this way. Just do it a little bit at a time. You don't want to serve such a long pasta to anyone, let me tell you. Not easy for you to cook with this and not easy to eat it.
Chop off each of the heads of the garlic. For our garlic cream sauce, I'll add about a stick of butter.
Oh, garlic is always garlic. Americans love garlic so much. So if us Italians put 1 or 2 cloves, you have to put at least 6 or 7 cloves. He's using 2 garlic heads. You know how much garlic that is? It's enough garlic to wake up Dracula.
You know it, baby.
Once that butter is melted, I'm gonna take a few cloves of my fresh garlic and press this right in here. Oh!
Hey.
I prefer a garlic press to mincing garlic any day, because it really...
I agree with you. The garlic press really brings the flavors out.
Now into this butter, I'm gonna slowly sprinkle in a few tablespoons of flour while still whisking. And this will...
Flour, so he's making a very thick, heavy cream because he's basically using the technique to make bechamel. So butter, garlic, which is the flavor you're adding, and the flour. This is very heavy, guys. Is it needed? You don't need that.
And this will make us a nice garlic roux. Those clumps that you see in there aren't the flour. It's actually just that minced garlic. Once we've stirred this around a short bit and let it thicken, I'll add in about 2 cups of heavy cream.
Do you need heavy cream? Why don't you make the cream with the cheese? Nick, you're a MasterChef winner. You're Gordon Ramsay's best friend, and you are using heavy cream.
With making decisions. And I think...
Huh? For a pasta that is going inside a cheese wheel. You got a beautiful cheese over there. Why don't you use the cheese to make the cream? Please, Nick. You know better than that.
And then once I've let this start to heat up, I'll start grating in some of the Parmesan right out of my wheel.
Oh, it's a bit late to use the Parmigiano. Come on, Nick.
Can you imagine if I had the nerve to use pre-grated Parmesan right now from the store? Think about it this way. You can buy fresh Parmesan that's at least somewhat recently been taken out of a full Parmesan wheel like I've shown you, or you can buy pre-grated Parmesan, which has probably been sitting on the shelf a few years.
He's right.
But not exactly aging in the good way. Just think about that next time you make that choice.
Bravo.
Up into a really beautiful buttery cream sauce. We can set this whole thing aside, and we're ready to
Guys, it's very heavy. You know, you can make the cream just Alfredo. The simple Alfredo is with just Parmigiano Reggiano and butter. You should have done that. So simple. This is extremely heavy.
Once our water's boiling, we'll...
Wow, ooh, look at that pot. This is sexy. This is a sexy glass pot. I want this. Where do you get it from?
our water like the ocean, because we really want that salty flavor in our pasta.
He's very generous with the salt. I like you, Nick.
And once the salt has had a minute to settle and dissolve into the water, we'll toss in our pasta.
You see, that pasta was very long. Watch it again. Look how long that pasta is.
Dissolve into the water, we'll toss in our pasta.
Guys, extremely long. Very, very long. Very hard to mix it with that sauce that you made. Very hard to eat it. Very hard to do this. That's when you need to use a knife. I know why now people use knives to eat spaghetti or pasta. They use a knife because they serve you a pasta this long. I would need a knife too to cut it. It's too long.
Now before we put in that pasta, we'll pour in a bit of white wine and light it on fire.
Okay, I've seen this technique done by so many people. Do you need to do this? You don't have to. I'll show you why. Because if you have hot pasta going straight in there, let me tell you, the pasta will melt. If you come and watch my video, I did a risotto with Nonna, you can see. Once you put it in, it's nice and hot, you go with 2 spoons and scrape the edges, and the edges will come off, it will become cream.
You might not be able to see the flame right now, but you can probably hear it, and there's tons of heat coming off this wheel of Parmesan right now. You can probably start to see some of these flames of the fire, which is kind of faint, but still definitely there. What it's allowing me to do is sort of make a cheese sauce out of this.
Yeah, okay, that's a good technique.
Before we even add any of the pasta to that. And because it's so hot in there, the cheese is starting to melt in the base of my wheel. Now that
You can also use a little bit of pasta water, to be honest, just a little bit to make it softer. But again, you don't have to. Once you put the hot pasta in there, the cheese will melt easily.
we have this really warm cheese paste at the base that we can now use to make the rest of our pasta.
Look how beautiful this cheese paste is. You don't need the butter, heavy cream and the garlic. This is just perfect.
We'll pour in that pasta.
Oh my God, look how dry it is. Look at the pasta, guys, look how dry. I wonder how long the pasta has been sitting there. Gordon Ramsay didn't teach you the right thing, Nick. Watch my videos, Nick. Look at that. It's a mountain of dead pasta. That pasta is dead. First, it's too much for the little hole. The hole is too small, and that's too much pasta. Second, put a little bit at a time. Look at that. Look how sad. The pasta is crying. I don't want to be here. Take me out.
Then we'll come in with that thick.
Oh my God, you're ruining the beauty of this wheel. Look how much butter and heavy cream you got there.
Cream sauce.
Letting it go all over that pasta.
You know what you need now? This is what you need. Extra virgin olive oil, because the pasta is stuck together. You need to revive the pasta. But you should have done that before you put it in. When you collect pasta from the boiling water, put it in a colander straight in the sauce. If you wait too long, this is what happens. It dries up.
And at this point, I'll take my forks and mix this all in together to make our beautiful pasta inside that wheel of Parmesan. I have to say, this is one of the most beautiful, coolest, most rustic things I have ever seen in the kitchen. And
It's so beautiful, I agree, it's so wonderful. What you should have done is to go quickly with the forks, and then you get 2 spoons and scrape all the edges of the cheese, and that's how you get the cream. And you mix it, pasta, like when you do an Alfredo, a real Alfredo in Rome. 2 spoons and mix. And that's how you get the beautiful cream. With the fork, I'm worried this is gonna dry up. And if it dries up, you don't enjoy this.
I have cooked a lot of things in my life. Just listen to that pasta sound.
We like the sound.
Just for some color, I'm gonna finish this off with a few chives.
Why? Why do you need chives? What is the chives going to do? Why do you need chives in an Alfredo style pasta made in the Parmigiano wheel. Why? Tell me why. I need to understand. Why chives? Why do you need the green? And if you need the green, why chives?
Before I dive in, I'm just gonna add a little bit more Parmesan right on top of this.
You don't need to add more Parmigiano because you are in the Parmigiano wheel. You need to scrape the edges with the spoon. That pasta is probably too cold by now, so it's not gonna melt the cheese. But if you get the pasta straight from the boiling water and you go straight in there, you will be able to melt the cheese easily. This is going to dry up. I know, this is gonna be extremely, extremely dry.
It's time to take a little bite. Now we can't eat anything.
What is he doing? What is that?
We're letting our furry little friend try it himself. So I'm gonna put.
What is he doing? That's a cute little animal, but it does not belong on the Parmigiano wheel. Nick, what are you doing? 30 million people watch this video. What are you showing us?
I'm gonna put pesto down, and don't worry, this is gonna be sanitary enough. I'm gonna scrape off.
Excuse me? Sanitary enough. What are you talking? Guys, we had COVID. We're going through COVID still, and you show me this? Have you learned something about COVID? You put an animal that belongs to the mouse family on a cheese wheel that you're about to eat, to serve? What are you doing? You have a cooking show teaching people how to cook, and this is what you do? Sorry, Nick, I'm a big fan of yours, but this is not what you need to do. This is not what we. I don't appreciate this. I don't respect this. I find this yuck.
Off this part of the cheese after. The funny thing is here, I think he's just gonna eat the cheese and not actually go for the pasta. And that's okay.
That's not okay. This is definitely not okay. The younger generation should not see this. I don't want anyone to do this at home. Especially when you have a beautiful Parmigiano Reggiano wheel like that. A little bit of respect to the artisan who have made this beautiful Parmigiano wheel. This makes me a little bit angry, Nick.
Okay, because there's too much garlic in the pasta. But this is probably one of the best days of Pesto's life. Pesto, say bye to everybody, okay? But now, I think it's...
He's eating the pasta. I guess you guys are best friends, so you share everything, right? Look at the pasta.
I think it's time to dive in. Let's give this a try.
Look how broken the pasta is. You notice how broken it is? From a long pasta, look how small it is now. It's broken. Probably overcooked, probably died in the colander. Try to bring it to life again in the Parmesan cheese wheel. Parmigiano Reggiano wheel. Oh my God, I call it Parmesan. Parmigiano cheese wheel. And then when he mixed it, he broke the whole thing. Details make the difference, guys. Details.
That right there is some good
See, the pasta is broken.
pasta. Honestly, I'm even having a little bit of a hard time describing it. All of it is so fresh. I just feel like you can't get much fresher than this. I mean, sure, I can take a trip to Italy next time and get the wheel right from the cheesemaker in some beautiful old basement where they've been aging it for a while.
Yeah, but make sure you don't bring your little pesto friend. Please don't, okay? No, don't go there because they don't like stuff like that.
And that would be a little bit fresher. But I mean, this is pretty darn fresh.
No, Nick, you've done a great job. You've done a great job. The pasta was good. The idea of the pasta sauce was good. But if you cut the pasta smaller and put it straight from the pot to the wheel and mix it and scrape the edges, it would have been a fantastic pasta. Without the chives, please. But what you've done here was a little bit too much. Maybe you rushed it a little bit. You also didn't have a chance to test it because that was a brand new cheese wheel. So it's new to try, and this is what you made. I'm pretty sure the next time you make it, you know what to do. But this was a great video. Apart from the fact that you used your little friend there, that was terrible. Please do not do that ever again. But did you guys enjoy? I mean, we like Nick. Everybody loves Nick. The only problem with Nick is Gordon Ramsay's best friend. So maybe don't do Italian food anymore, Nick, because Gordon is bad influence.
Get out! Disaster!
Thank you so much for watching this episode. I'll see you in the next Vincenzo's Plate video recipe. E ora si mangia. Without pesto. Vincenzo's Plate.